Meeting to order, 7:01. The planning board agenda, we have several items to go through. I'd like to suggest that since we have a pretty full house, that we do the minutes that we provided after we get through some both the old and new business. I agree. That's okay with the board. And then from that, move on to old business first. The McGoverns are here. We've seen the application before, and they provided some additional information, and we may have some questions for you, and you may have some questions for us. So if we could go through that one. Does everybody have a copy? Nick provided color printouts, which is very fancy. It's nice to see stuff. So. Thank you.
You're doing great.
There you go. So the current structure, 960 square feet.
Yes.
Great. And you're proposing to add on, is that correct?
Correct. Yep. 60 square feet.
Okay.
Peter,
Yes.
just to kind of summarize where we were at the last meeting, and some of these have been, the information provided. We were lacking with the scale site plan. We now have one. We needed to determine whether the garage was within 75 or 100 feet of the normal high water mark. We now know that, again, because of the site, the scale site plan. And that determines whether the maximum square footage allowed is 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet. And then it was 20. We didn't know what the percentage of the lot area within the shoreline zone was unvegetated, and that information's been provided. I have a question about it, but the information, a very good and detailed breakdown is provided, which we appreciate. Thank you. I believe that's those were the outstanding issues.
So from point A to point B on the picture, it looks like that's 92 feet from the normal high water mark. If I understand that correctly.
That's to the back bank, yeah,
And,
behind the house.
right.
That's when it got cut up and went under the power lines, and then it rises again for the railroad.
Okay. And just for my edification here, is that is the garage, the far side of the garage, all within that 92 feet?
Yes.
The garage is according to the site plan within 75 feet. So,
yep.
picture looks, the overhead photo looks like the water actually goes into the little cove, or what might be called the boat ramp, or,
The boat
runway or whatever.
That's an old term, but that's what they call it.
That actually would be considered part of the lake, so the setback would even be measured from there, so
Right.
it's clearly within, even without the other numbers.
Yeah, so if each square is 5 feet, if you count it, it's less than 75 feet. From the normal high water mark of that little, mark that's opening, there's no runway.
So we have more, I guess I wasn't here last meeting, but as I see this, we've got a proposal to expand the garage plus the house is clearly over 1,000 square feet.
We're already up to 1,296.
I don't think we
Square
can
feet.
allow any kind of expansion within 100 feet of the water, in this particular case.
Isn't it living space we're concerned with?
No,
No.
it's total area of all structures.
If you want, Peter, I can read you the applicable part of it.
That would be great.
Regulations on page 10, and just for your benefit too.
Yep.
It reads, for structures located less than 75 feet from the normal high water line of a water body, tributary stream, or upland edge of a wetland, the maximum combined total footprint for all structures, doesn't matter what type, may not be expanded to a size greater than 1,000 square feet.
So we wouldn't even be entitled to the 40 square
Right,
feet.
yeah. Right. Which we were uncertain about that last time.
And
The garage is a pre-existing prior to the zoning ordinances
Right.
going in.
Mhm.
That still gets included
Yeah.
as part of,
I mean, they knew that they were looking for a denial so they can go to the Board of Appeals.
Right.
We
The
discussed
question
that,
is
yeah,
why?
yeah, exactly.
Is it because in the original application, I think you were basing on 1,500 square feet.
oh, I wrote
Or,
that
or,
the
no, I'm sorry,
previous
that's
home
wrong.
was
Yeah,
1,500.
you were just basing it on the
That
square footage of the
She tore
camp.
it down, yeah,
Right.
and then she put that
Yeah,
smaller
the
structure
square
there.
footage of the garage now is in play.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go through this, I think what I'm gonna suggest is that we reference the section in the ordinance, so we have that information, so that you understand how we based our decision. Right? So then you can then go forward to your next steps, whatever that might be.
Okay.
Okay. At this point, after considering the information we've been provided, and thank you very much for doing so, do we have any additional questions?
I have one, on your calculations for the, amount of unvegetated surface area, at the bottom, by the way, this is great, thank you very much. You indicated that to avoid exceeding the 20% maximum, you were gonna, take out 228 square feet of unvegetated and vegetated, and I was just curious where that would be on the site.
It's between the boat run and the garage. We would, seed that.
Is that what the little X means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We probably should get that clarified, that that's the 20 by whatever,
12.
12, yeah, 12. Area that it's gonna be revegetated. On the drawing, that is, on the original drawing.
Right. Yeah, would you like to have that?
Yes, one of your copies will be the original drawing. I gave all the colored copies.
Oh, which one's the original?
That one can be the original.
This is?
Yeah, they're all the same, exact same, so.
Oh, okay,
She brought in 4.
Right,
yeah.
so that one can be the original.
So, if it's okay with you, maybe we can use that.
Yeah, sure, no.
Indicate to the applicants to go to where X marks the spot. That's the intended revegetated area.
Revegetate.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind just indicating that on that plan, that way it would be clear to anybody.
You
I
could just
believe
do it
I
on
have-
this
I
and
believe I
then
have that.
initial and dated.
As
Want to
option,
grab that?
Yes,
Yes,
please, yeah, just, so the site drawing's clear as to the
Right.
area, where geographically, I know it's there, but, you just indicate that that's the area to be vegetated.
This is very well done.
Okay. I was looking at the wrong X, so
Thank you.
it's good that we're doing this, cause I thought it was that X.
Nope. Nope. Between the boat runway and the garage.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
so right there.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do, just?
Well, just maybe put an arrow there and label it as area to be revegetated. And then initial it and date it, please.
Yep.
Official amendment to the application. Thank you. Sure.
Do you wanna hang on to it?
No, I can look at it, just if I'm not to. Thank you, that answers my question. Yes. Yes, so for everybody's benefit, the area that he indicated, yeah, right there. It's all of this. This is area right here, not this area down here.
They're kind of squares.
Yeah, right in there. This is, that's,
Does the board have any more questions for the applicant? Or about this application? I'm sensing a motion, on this, now I entertain one, if the board is ready.
I can make a motion.
All right,
I make a motion to deny the application on the basis that existing structures within 75 feet of the normal high water mark exceed 1,000 square feet as required in the section 12C1,
C,
1, or I, little I, excuse me.
12 CI.
12C, big C, small c, I.
No,
It's on page 10 of the, Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Second, you second. Any more discussion?
when we need to get the proper form,
Figure that out.
form, yeah.
Perfect. Do you have any other questions for us?
Nope.
I mean, you'll still be going to the appeals board, just slightly different basis.
So, have the motion on the floor and seconded, no more discussion, no more questions? All in favor of the motion? 5 in favor? None opposed? This was denied, so is there a letter that denies it?
It's a notice for the planning board decision, notice of permit denial.
If they get a copy of that,
I think I have to send them a letter too, stating that.
Okay, and then we will reference specific things, and then you can do your next step.
okay.
thank you for the additional information, that really clears things up.
You're welcome.
So on this denial form, there's a finding of fact. We haven't done one like this in quite a while, actually.
Not since the marina.
So would the board care to go through there are 8 items, right? There are 8 items, so we can be clear about this. findings of fact.
Yeah.
So a complete application for permit number
919.
19 was received by the town of Belgrade on, Nick, do we call this full on
On,
April?
April 4th, 2019.
Is that accurate to say
No,
that?
no, that's what it says
Still
here,
last
date
week.
logged.
That's the date it was logged, but
Oh.
do we consider it complete? The
Oh,
question
complete?
is- The question is, it was complete.
Oh,
We
that's
saw
today's
it
date.
Today,
I agree. The 16th of May. The property which is subject to this application is map 49 lot 10.
Mhm.
Located at or near, can I just say Messalonsky Lake? Or is that what we're looking for?
6 Twin Oaks Road.
Thank you. The development site has been determined to be located in a something district as defined,
limited residential.
limited residential. As defined on the blank map of the shoreline zoning plan.
Official shoreline,
As defined on the
Shoreline.
official. Is that what it is?
official shoreline zoning map.
The applicant is McGovern. The application has standing to apply for a permit by virtue of A, holding legal title. A site inspection was conducted by the, hold on. So, this is only in the affirmative, so, I would have nothing to put there. Are you okay with that?
Mhm.
The applicant proposes the following development on the specified site. And the proposal was an addition of 60 square feet. Is that
Right.
correct? Other relevant facts found are, I think number one would be the
Substantial limitation.
total,
Yeah, total cumulative, square footage of structures within 75 feet of normal high water mark.
almost there. There's may I abbreviate normal high water mark to?
Yeah.
So the total square footage of structures within 75 feet of normal high water mark
Exceeds
exceeds
1,000 square feet by 296 feet.
Conclusions, the development proposed in the application for a permit does not meet the standards of the shoreline zoning ordinance. Section 12, standard is non-conforming ordinance.
Yes, non-conforming structures. So 12C5.
It's actually 12C,
Little c.
12C1.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
12C1.
1C.
Yeah, when we voted on it, we said 12C1.
Yeah, we did the wrong citation.
But it should be 12C1 12C1
CI.
CI.
Yeah. Sorry, Bob.
Should we review that? Yeah, I think so.
This page, standard, proposed, what value are we looking for there? So, it says, conclusions, one, the development, does not meet the standards of the shoreline zoning ordinance, and downgraded in the following respects, section, we quoted that, standard non-conforming, standard. What is proposed? Anybody know what that's supposed to be referenced?
I mean,
I'll show you where-
the 60 square foot expansion.
Sure. It's just showing, we're referencing the ordinance there, the section there, with saying that about the standard, I'm not sure what that means.
Only thing I can think we put there was
Additional 60 square feet.
Okay.
60 square feet.
Okay. Based on the findings of fact and conclusions, the town of Belgrade has denied the application for permit 9/19. On today's date is 5/16/19. This is current. You have the permit application? Okay, I think we've done all our paperwork.
So,
Thank you for your patience.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
we
you for
should
your
vote
time.
on that denial, findings of fact,
Oh,
Get the
sorry,
right
that's right.
citation.
and we unfortunately need to get the right citation.
Correct. Thank you. So I have that, okay. So, I entertain a motion on the findings of fact.
Okay, I would, well, I'm not sure if you're asking me this, but I'd make a motion that we revote the denial to vote on the correct, more specific correct citation, and the denial is, the citation should be section 12C1CI.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? 5 in favor, none opposed. To properly reference the site, section of the ordinance. And then voting on the
Make a motion to accept the findings of fact. Regarding the denial of application 9/19.
Motion made, seconded, any more discussion? All those in favor? 5 in favor, none opposed. I think we've taken care of business.
Okay. You'll get all that, Nick?
What was that motion again?
Thank you for your time.
The motion was to
Accept the
accept the findings of fact for the denial of application 9/19.
Incoming, Mr. Poole.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we can get on to new business. Or actually. So Gary, Henrik Charles,
Yes.
you're here? Okay, so how does the board, we have,
We have the discussion of the wetlands first, right?
yes, we do. So if you don't mind, we have a discussion on the agenda that precedes your application. Are you okay with that? Thank you for your patience. Okay. So Kevin, thanks for coming down tonight. Thank you, Bill. You were both contacted? Okay.
Nick, were there any other landowners in?
LaGrange,
In the road?
they were notified as well.
So the four properties that we thought that would touch this area.
Right, I don't think the railroads own the property, right, they just have the railroad track.
Yeah, they have the right, well, they have at least the right of way, you know.
I believe it's a right of way. If I read my deed, they have a right of way.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think they own the land.
Okay.
Who's the other owner?
LaGrange, I can go check the first.
David,
David LaGrange?
Yeah. Bill, are you the one that owns the little,
No,
no, but it goes, this is yours right here.
I'm 23A.
Oh, okay.
This year was Farmers Hill. This is Captain Mars's. Up in here. This year is just Lads. This year is whoever bought the old Hutchins place. Yeah. And then this down here.
So you're not, your lot isn't affected, I guess, it's based on this drawing.
Well,
see, we thought this was part of this lot.
You don't run that, okay,
my lot's up here.
okay. And who did you say you got on this one?
That's farming, right, Kevin? Come here.
We may have not notified the right people.
Oh, really?
No, which one? That's farmers land.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dwayne's,
This-
Dwayne's father, over,
Yep.
what we're
See,
doing.
Lynn lives there. This is the big field down in back of, this is her woods. From this line over, that's Kevin's.
We knew that was Kevin, we didn't, I'm not sure what we thought was yours.
Well, no, we thought this was all one contiguous
okay,
lot,
okay, yeah, cause there's no number there.
because there's no number on that lot.
And see, that's just that, this here
Yeah,
is,
that's it, this is yours.
this here would be Mim Lads, this corner. This here is, the old Hutchins place.
David LaGrange owns that?
Yep.
Okay, you did know, notify
David
David.
LaGrange was notified.
Did we notify the lads?
You didn't notify the lads?
No.
I think we didn't realize that was, yeah.
I don't know why this is so
We-
far
I
over
think-
here anyway, this ain't nowhere near that. There's no wetland, we don't, I guess there.
Yeah, it's 250 feet from the edge.
More than that across there. Running close.
Well,
From that over to that, more than 250 feet.
well, that might very well be,
Fair amount.
this is
Picking
an
up.
approximation,
Yeah.
that
Picking up.
I did it based on the
Yeah,
scale.
they had nothing, I can already tell you, I got a yard sitting right here, wood yard. This whole thing's cut into a wood yard, it's not even nowhere near 250 feet over there, it's a lot further than that.
You see, this one.
So we didn't, it was at least one other person that was not.
Was it Wayne Farman Land that you modified?
Yeah, no, that's, what with that wood yard sitting right here. There's no way it's more than that across there, a lot more than that. No, that belongs to his sister. What's her name? Lynn? Lynn.
Probably Dwayne would be the one who would show up.
Probably don't wanna be the one, yeah. Done the Lynn.
I was wondering why I was getting a lot of,
No.
anyways, that's quite well.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Screwed up.
But I do have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we should answer your
Yeah.
questions
Yeah,
and
we need-
go over the forestry regulations.
Yeah, and we need to generally discuss the whole why we're even, although that's part of the letter, but, you know, why we're even proposing this, resource protection.
Can you give a quick summary then, Rich, about that part?
What section of the shoreline zoning ordinance, states that areas within 250 feet of moderate and high value, freshwater wetlands ratings, moderate and high value, come from waterfowl ratings from inland fisheries and wildlife. That those areas within 250 feet of the moderate and high value wetlands be zoned for resource protection. And that would, again, would be 250 feet from the upland edge of essentially the non-forested part of the wetland. What that would do, as far as forestry is concerned, it wouldn't affect it at all. What the shoreline zoning ordinance, forestry regulations, we kind of handed it over to the Department of, the Forestry Department to administer those. Their regulations are the same as far as, limited 40% harvest in a 10-year period. There's 3 different methods that they establish of how you can do timber harvesting in the shoreline zone.
They're all selective cuts. You
Yeah.
can't do any clear cutting or liquidation cuts, but, so your options are, the 3 options are, up to 40% volume removal, leaving at least 60 square feet of basal area, or coming up with your own timber harvesting plan developed by a Maine professional forester and then getting it approved by the Bureau of Forestry.
But that's in effect regardless of what the district is. So
Yeah.
changing the district from what is now a probably limited residential to resource protection would not affect what you could do at all for timber. That had no effect whatsoever.
Regardless of what zone it is, you have to go to them to get a permit.
Yeah, and actually, I don't believe you even need, or you may need, I don't think you even need a permit in resource protection for the timber harvest, but it certainly isn't any prohibition. It's the typical standards. The significant difference that resource protection would affect the property would be that currently areas within 75 feet, if it's owned residential as it is now, you could build a residential structure or whatever in limited residential districts. This rezoning would prohibit new houses or whatever within that 250-foot zone, but it wouldn't affect timber harvesting. It would be a limitation on residential structures, is essentially what the change would be.
There are some setbacks and some other requirements that apply regardless of what zone you're in, within the shoreline zone. So the change doesn't affect these, but there are setbacks for skid trails, yards, and roads. Just so you're aware of that.
You're probably familiar with Kevin, with
you're probably already
the
familiar
shoreline
with this.
zoning timber harvesting standards.
Some, usually I have a forester who does all my stuff, and I've talked to him about, he said he can make up a forestry plan, go in and pretty much do what we need to do, with a lot of the woods falling down and, but I'm looking at what you're trying to change here, I wanna know why. You're devaluing my land, you're taking the land from me, basically, what you've done, or gonna try to do. I mean, I bought it, I pay tax on it, it's my land.
So what
You know?
what criteria was used, because to bring this up to a moderate or high value? It was my understanding when we were going through all this stuff that, most of it was gonna be dropped down out of that. Now we're creating a new.
Actually, most of it is gonna.
It's like 2 wetlands that, 2 or 3 that would go out of resource protection. And then the 2 that they using the same criteria that would downgrade those resulted in this one and the one along the lower end of Long Pond that we should consider because they're high value or moderate value waterfowl and wetland wading bird habitat as resource protection. So you live and you die by the sword. As long as it's the same sword.
So how
Oh,
was
it's
it
both.
decided that we're gonna pick this one?
Cause Inland Fish and Wildlife, when they went out in the field and surveyed it, identified it had the characteristics of a moderate or high value wetland for the, you know, wading birds and waterfowl.
I can see the other side of the tracks. That's quite a wetland on the other side, but my side on this side is just stream frontage. It's not a wetland. The wetland's on the other side of that tracks. If you go down and look, then that opens up into wetland on the other side. My side, just like having any more stream frontages anywhere else. Ain't no different. But on the other side of the tracks is a wetland, which I would consider wetland, but not on my side.
Well, I'm certainly not familiar with your land, Kevin.
Yeah, if you go down there, the
I've
water's,
looked at it on Google Earth. and
Yeah.
It certainly looks like a wetland from satellite imagery.
yeah, the wetland's on the other side of the tracks. That's when it goes out and it's not very deep and it looks like a marsh. My side, on this side of the tracks,
I
It
don't
looks-
have it with me.
yeah, it
but-
looks like
but the satellite imagery definitely looks like on your side of the tracks like wetland.
no, it ain't in there.
It
It's wet, you know, it's like going down the stream any way you go. It's the same thing. It goes in there and
Is it
opens
all
up.
forested?
It's like paddling up a brook.
But it's pretty wide. I mean, it's, you know, we can see on the map, you go in and look, it opens up and it's,
Cause it looks like, some sedges or something like that on the satellite imagery.
along that
Is
other
it
side, it's
all
all
red
forested.
maple or? what
It's
is
all
it?
forested right to the edge of that,
Stream?
right to the edge of the stream. All forested, wood like that, the whole thing. Then when you get on the other side of those tracks, then it opens right up into what I'd call a wetland. I mean, that's pretty wide with cattails and, you know, not water very deep, and I'd consider that a wetland, yes, I would, but my side, no, I
Do
don't.
you have any objection if we took a planning board or members of the planning board, visited the site?
Yeah, I mean, the water's deep all around through there, I mean, cause there's some beaver down there, they
You
got
can
beaver.
paddle up there, I guess. Can you paddle up
You
there?
can walk down the railroad tracks from Hammond's. Yeah. But like I said, the other side of the tracks, I would definitely consider that wetland, but not on my side. Yeah, there's water, but it's stream frontage. I mean, if you're gonna consider that wetland, my piece, you better go down through the whole stream and consider it wetland, cause it's all the same, you know?
Now, when you say the other side of the track, Kevin.
That would be over on David LaGrange's piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same thing with Abbott Ladd's, his is forest right up to the edge, you know? But David LaGrange, you go in there, that opens up into a big wetland, I would call that wetland, but not on this side.
So in this
What
case, because this was all done by IFW.
Yeah.
They were the ones that went in and looked at this. So if there's an objection by a landowner, you present that to them?
We're the ones officially
Yeah.
proposing it, they did the readings.
Okay.
My feeling is that, we ought to have either a representative or representative of the planning board, look at if the landowner's telling us that it's not what it is,
It's not wetland.
I think it's up to us to look at it, and I certainly am not, I wouldn't be in a position of saying Fish and Wildlife said this is moderate high value, we don't care, we're going with that. I think legitimately, we need to look at it, to make sure that, or to confirm one way or another that, that it's, in fact, wetland.
Rich, with, you know, the other moderate and high value wetlands that you know of, are any of them, are any of them entirely wooded? Like Kevin's saying that the section that's north of the railroad tracks is, or is it, like this all down here between the railroad tracks and the main stem of the Belgrade stream is, you know, really clearly, emergent type wetland vegetation. You can, I've fished in there. But
One of the things I would say is that if the open water that's shown on this drawing is emergent wetland and cattails and stuff, then what we're zoning under this thing is the 250 feet from one edge of that wetland.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's possible that you could have a forested area that's in the resource
So
protection.
there are really two
as well.
questions. Then the first question is, like, the area that Kevin says is stream. Is that indeed a stream, or is it, a water body filled with emerging wetland vegetation.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two different types of
Yeah.
landforms.
My thinking is we clearly need to visit that. You know, Kevin had come in and said, yes, I understand this, or whether the issue of, you know, takings and all of that, but if you came in and said, yeah, it meets the criteria, this is all wetland, but I don't like it, that's another issue. But we're at a position where Kevin's saying, you know, I don't think this is, it should be considered wetland or whatever. I think we need to look at that.
I agree.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. Is that something that you'd be able to do, Rich?
Oh, good. Can I ask you, I'm just trying to figure out the easiest way to do this, in terms of getting good visual of the thing. Would it be easier to paddle up Belgrade Stream and come in through these areas and then get out of the canoe and walk over the railroad tracks or whatever? I just don't know what accessibility of that.
I just take my photos and go up the railroad tracks, but you can walk down from Hammond, and it ain't that far. And you can walk right in, you know, all around it, cause once you get away from the water, it's right up on high ground, you're going right uphill.
I'd certainly be willing to take a look at that.
Be good to take some pictures.
Well, thank you. I think that's a fair and equitable approach to this.
I would go with it.
Really, Craig? That'd be awesome. If you could. So two, no more than two. Going at once.
Oh, we have formal meeting at that point?
Now,
Well,
I
just
see
like
where you got
St.
this all
Louis
drawn
town.
out here in pink, like up there on Jeff Ladd's lane, okay? If you get down in there, or if he gets down in there with his tractor, where that's pink on this side, or I'm down there hunting and I got the four-wheeler, is that against the law?
No.
If you cut it up or anything?
You mean like clearing for shooting lanes or something
No.
like that?
Let's say, let's
Like
say
this
it's
stuff.
wet and you drive up to that corner and you cut the ground up in it.
Oh, cut the ground up. Oh. Well, I mean, if you cause sedimentation, that doesn't matter where you're at,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
technically a violation of
But
state
Jeff-
law.
But like if Jeff was to do it, and that's his land,
Doesn't matter. If
Yeah,
you cause soil erosion and it results in sedimentation of a water body,
yes,
if it goes into that stream and then it goes.
I've learned that lesson.
You know, that,
But,
it doesn't matter who, if it's a
Yes.
landowner or somebody else, it doesn't matter.
but, the example I would think of is, you're familiar with it, being a snowmobile club, is
Yep.
Terry Sawyer's piece there, where the snowmobile trail is really wet.
Yep,
If Terry went into that thing with his four-wheeler and rutted it and stuff, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not a violation.
Yeah, no, It's a matter of degree, you know.
and the next question is, why not leave well enough alone?
In terms of, like
Just
that.
leave it the way it is. Nobody bothers it.
Well, the bigger objective here on our part was we're trying to update the overall shoreline zoning map to have it accurate and reflect, you know, current day understanding, not just on wetlands, but other things as well. And so this is just part and parcel of that. So we had approached Inland Fish and Wildlife to look at all the wetlands that are mapped as resource protection now, and if they're asked if there are any others that we should be considering for protection. And they did that, they went in the field and did that, and as we mentioned before, they discovered some that are currently resource protection that we're gonna propose they be downgraded to something else. And in the course of doing that, they also found these two wetlands, this being one of them, that they recommended we consider as resource protection. The one on the end of Long Pond, we've already decided not to do that because it includes residential properties. It doesn't pass the straight face test.
Okay, now you see the map, you see where my land is.
Right.
How do I fit into the Messalonskee watershed district?
Say that again?
Yeah, you come again, Bill?
I didn't.
When I went to build my storage units, I was limited because I am in the Messalonskee watershed
Oh,
district.
right.
Now, if you look at my land and see how far I am away from the stream, how do you figure I'm in the Messalonskee watershed district?
Because the property drain, any kind of surface runoff or even surface, even groundwater, well, I don't know about.
Yeah, no, groundwater flows
Groundwater,
too.
yeah.
Flows in Belgrade Stream too.
Everything's in a watershed.
Yeah, you're either in one lake's watershed or another lake's watershed, and if you look at a topographical map, your property happens to be in the Messalonskee watershed.
Because this was also, you know, a deciding factor on how many buildings I could build at that time.
What was a factor was the fact that it did flow into the mess.
That's right,
Right,
Yeah.
that's right, it did go in there.
right. And, cause that was part of the calculations that we did, correct?
For the phosphorus. Yeah. Well, yeah, right.
Phosphorus transportation.
I mean, everybody in Belgrade's in some lake watershed, doesn't matter how far, I'm in the Long Pond, lower Long Pond watershed, despite I'm over a mile away.
Okay.
So do you think that the next best thing for us to do is to do the site visit, maybe with some, take some pictures, and then revisit this, and then we can talk to the applicant, not the
Yeah.
applicant, the landowner, Kevin.
And when we reconvene, we need to include the labs,
So that's-
and they need to get the official notice letter too.
Yep, they will. Yeah, good point. So, so Rich and Craig, if you wanna go together, or individually, or whatever.
Whatever we do.
When you think, and I'll go with it, I'll show you where everything is.
That would be great if you could.
But I just need some heads up so I can get away, but you can't call me tomorrow night, so we're going in the morning.
Yeah.
Can't do
We
that.
can't do it Saturdays.
You know, if you give me some time ahead.
I can't do it this weekend either. I'll get it.
Well, I didn't mean, I was just using that as a figure
Do it
three.
some evening this week, anytime, anyway.
Week or whatever, I mean, next weekend, Memorial Weekend, so I'm gonna be gone Friday, but I'm just saying, in the near future here, get it done.
Maybe some.
And I can show you all the property.
Call and, hold Kevin.
Okay. Then we can reconvene after that, talk with Kevin, right? And then go from there.
So what's this, something has to go to vote to the townspeople,
It would
or?
have to- it would have to
Eventually.
go, yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it's the immediate next step, but, you know, once we have made a sort of decision on what's wetland, what's not wetland and all that, that along with removing the other wetlands that, from resource protection that have already been identified by Inland Fish and Wildlife, we need to, get the map physically changed, you know, by, contractor working for the town. And then that goes to the voters.
I mean, you know, to me, that piece I have is not wetland. If you're gonna consider that wetland, you better go down by Bobby Rose, down the end of Bartlett Road. You better start down there too, cause that's all the same. And there's none of that on the map.
Yeah, just to make a
You
little
know.
more clear here, you know, in what I would be looking at, if, I guess, for my purposes of trying to figure out things, you can have upland area that's in resource protection. The real question is this just an extension of Belgrade Stream that goes up into the area, or is this truly the water aspect of it, not the high ground where the trees are? Is that a wetland, or is that just a
Right.
piece of the river?
Right.
Belgrade Stream is a river under shoreline zoning definition. It's drained more than 25 square miles, so if I go and look at that water area and see that, geez, that's just open water.
Yeah, it's a stream bed.
Yeah.
It's part of Belgrade Stream is what that is, but it's part of the lake that runs in and around there. I guess my question is, I mean, I don't know much about how people own stuff, but you get your map right there?
This one?
Yeah. Let's say this is. Okay. See right here is where it comes in? This is my line here. This is my line here. This line goes right straight across. Right across. This is my line, right across. Yeah. So how does that work? This body of water belongs to me? So this is my line?
No.
That's be owned by the state of Maine, so.
Yeah.
So how does, over here there, don't they own that around that whole lake?
Oh.
How does that work?
Aslan's?
Yeah.
Because it's less than 10 acres.
This
Yeah,
is
the
what
state
the
owned.
is.
No, well, except it's considered part of Belgrade Stream and frankly, Mizalonsky Lake.
So this line comes across, that's under 10 acres, that don't matter? That's probably only,
No,
Maybe
it
3 or 4
depended
acres.
on what the water's connected to.
Now up here, if this is just flowing water down here and not part of what would consider part of the stream,
this runs into this and runs under the railroad tracks right here.
the person owns the wetland. Like this,
Yeah,
this is
right.
just a wet swampy area with a little
Yeah,
stream.
no, that's considered land basically at that point versus water body. The state.
Am I
owns
being
all the-
taxed on just this, not counting all this as part of my land?
I don't have any idea about taxes.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm paying tax on all that, then that would be taken out, if I'm not owning it.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
they
you-
consider this
You no
whole
more
thing.
own that than somebody that has a camp on Mizalonsky Lake owns a part of Mizalonsky Lake.
Well, it's different, you're on the water, I have a line across here. That's what I'm trying to say. You're trying to say right here, cause they own the front,
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying, this is my point, and this is my point.
yeah, no,
I have a
I,
line across.
I understand what
If
you're
I'm
asking
being
there,
taxed
yeah,
on all this,
I
which
don't
I
know
bet
the-
I am.
Yeah, I don't know
Shouldn't
the answer to that, Kevin, except that tell you that under state law, the state owns all, water bodies.
It's connected to the stream.
Yeah, right.
When I should have this figured out.
If say,
You
let's
don't get
say,
taxed
let's
on
say this connection didn't exist at all, and this was basically a little pond,
Yeah, then you don't.
then you would own it.
Yeah.
Cause it's
Only
probably
because
less,
it's coming
cause
in
it's
off
probably
stream.
less than 10 acres. If it's over 10 acres, then it's considered a water body of the state, the state owns the subsurface.
As far as whether you're taxed on this or something, I would talk to the tax assessor
no,
here in town.
I don't know.
If you are, he's saying yes you are, then I would ask him why or.
Yeah,
go
yeah,
from there,
because,
but I don't know about the tax.
It's a good point, it's a
yeah,
fair
no,
question.
it is a good point, if that's, your property line cuts right straight across.
It does, it's from here to here, the stream frontage is all my line right here, from here to here.
Yeah, sorry, we don't know.
Yeah, no, I just, I do,
I can understand.
I mean, you go up the stream, there's ducks there everywhere, so someone has put a duck house in there at one point, it's gone down, one of them maintained it, but there was a duck house there at one time, it's not. You know, you go down on Bobby Roads and down the Ballard Road, that's worse than this. I mean, that's, so. You know, you start taking away how much on each side, 250, or is that 500?
250, well, it's, 250 feet on each side.
Each side, so you're taking a lot of it away.
My biggest, we'll say concern is that the site visit right now is that you might not see, although I suspect you can see old growth if there was wetland vegetation in the open water earlier in the year. But I would suspect if there's a lot of wetland vegetation.
Oh, either
now,
like
it's-
lily pads or pickleweed or something.
well, I was thinking emergent vegetation, but that would still, you would still see that.
Yeah.
So, but,
I mean, if this is a stream, you should be able to determine that.
yeah. All right, I'll bring my tick-proof clothes. I guess you probably running that, man. I always wondered about loggers, how they, able to avoid, you don't avoid them, you just make sure you get them off you, I guess. at the
You
end
know,
of
I'm
the
lucky,
day.
they don't seem to stick to me very often. Once in a while I can walk in the woods all day, sometimes I don't get any.
My wife calls me a tick man.
Oh, really?
But anyway.
Well, just walk next to him, and
Nah,
you'll be
no,
all
you won't
set.
have them, you can keep them.
Anyway, yeah, we can talk afterward and try to figure out that particular day, yeah.
So thanks for visiting the land and the body of water and your stream, wherever it's gonna be, right? That's not what we call a site visit by the board, right? Board members going to visit this particular land.
Well, it's not a public meeting
Right.
because there's less than 3 people.
Right. So, okay. All right. Do you folks have more questions for
Good, so just someone call me, let me know, whoever, you got my number, just call me, anybody want me, call my cell, best thing. Or leave something at the house on the answer machine, but. Yep, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good night. So if things can work out to go like that, then, do you think it would be worthwhile to say that we want to notify the other folks that have?
Right, I'll see what.
Should we logistically plan on the second meeting in June to do this again? Or the first meeting in June?
Why don't we do the second, just to make sure we get time to look at it?
Precisely.
Hopefully we can do it next week.
That makes sense, that gives you time to still get out there and look, but still we need to notify
Right, yeah, that.
the other people that. So the second meeting in June, which would, I don't know what the date, somewhere around,
Oh, second meeting?
is it late, like,
It's late, 'cause we have a 3-week break,
right,
the 20th.
okay, just for everybody. Right, thank you very, very much. Right. Mr. Charles,
Yes, sir.
thank you for your patience, we've got through this. You're here to discuss your application.
What's that?
You're here to discuss your application.
Yes.
tonight.
Yes, he is.
Okay, Gary, you wanna lead us through it?
Ken? Property is, I'm looking for the address, hold on. Oh, 2 Pearl Drive, it's on Great Pond. Way down off the Horse Point Road.
Ah, okay.
He wants to replace that, and there's photographs that show it, there's a 16 by 24 replacement of a structure that's currently there now. Yeah, this photo here, this one.
Okay.
Let's replace that structure. That structure is in fact, I'm looking for site plan. That structure is how, 76 feet back from the edge of Great Pond.
The shed structure?
Yep. And on that same site plan, you'll see where he wants to build a 10 by 20, which is another building, which is 106 from the lake. 10 feet from this boundary line. Are you looking at the site plan at all? And then
Or you have a site.
Is it like,
It's on
way
the-
way in the
it's
back?
the
Oh,
last
okay.
sheet. Last sheet. So demolish and rebuild is 16 by 19, is that right?
16 by 24 is a no one.
24.
Yep.
So where the 16 by 19 foot shed is now, you're proposing to demolish?
Yeah, that's going in a dumpster.
Okay, and then in its place,
A 16 by 24,
so it's slightly larger,
slightly larger, but it will be closer to the water than it is now. There's a 100-foot pin right there by the old shed behind it, and we'll come back to that with 24, so we'll be 76 from the high water mark. And it's just, that one this here is like 15.5 by 18.5. And I wanna go 16 by 24. And we're just gonna come from where the front is now, or even back a foot more. Go back, yeah, so we'll be back to the 100-foot mark, that stake, that pin that's there, and then we'll come 24 forward, so we'll be 76 feet away, and put up something that looks a little better than what this one does now. And then, over on the other side of the lot, we wanna do the 10 by 20, and that will be, the closest point will be, I believe, like 106 feet from the water.
That's what it says.
And we'll be off the property line 10 feet. Any vegetation, though, there's gonna be a couple, I don't think either one of them are 6 inches through, to build the new shed. A couple of trees we're gonna take down. Otherwise there's no vegetation disturbance, because we start with cement blocks and run carrying beam timbers under the new structures. So there's one rock to take out behind the old dilapidated shed, just so that we can move that back to the 100-foot mark.
So you are the builder, correct?
Yes,
And you're here on behalf of the owner?
yes.
And do we have a letter or anything that says?
Do you have anything from the owner saying you have their approval to represent him?
No.
We
Forgot to tell you you needed that.
What's that?
I forgot to tell you you
Okay.
needed that when I met you, but
Would a phone call to him right now do any good? If something like that is needed?
something in writing.
We could
condition.
deal with it as a condition, we did that one other time.
Yeah, we have. That would be fair.
What's that?
We have done this as a condition in the past in another applicant.
That'd be great.
Where I would recommend a phone call that would result in an email or something that we can have.
Letter,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
That's my recommendation.
Yep, that would be great, because like I say, he's in New Jersey, and so I'm
Right,
Yeah,
doing the running and,
understood.
There's no soil disturbance either, that these buildings are on pads.
right.
Yep.
Both of them.
Okay. And that lot is 0.585 acres?
Yes.
Correct?
Yep,
On the map, on your very last, I think it's the last page there, just about, it talks about a back lot and a front lot, but it's all his, it totals 0.585 or whatever I wrote down there.
Okay. And then, so I just wanna make sure we dot our i's and cross
thank you.
our t's. We wanna make sure there's not 20% lot coverage, correct? Right, with the proposed buildings and the existing buildings, right? So,
We figured that out, didn't we? The lot coverage?
Yeah, it's just a fraction.
Yeah, I can't remember. You and I looked at that.
I just wanna make sure we're doing it right.
I just-
Not over how much?
Can't be-
20% of the lot can't be covered
Well,
with,
this one is like 33, so there's like 1,000 feet, and the new one is 384, and 200 is 584, so we're like 1,600 feet,
and it
and a half an acre is,
and it counts this driveway right here.
oh, that driveway, okay.
Yeah,
So, what's a half an acre, 20,000 square feet, 22?
Yeah.
say
And
20.
we're like 2,000, so we're like 10%. And counting the driveway that Gary just mentioned, you know, we're 15%.
So the driveway is shared by the next owner?
Yes.
Part of it's on his property and part of it's on.
Yep.
And of course, all we care about is that which is on
Yep.
his.
Most of it's on the other property,
and
actually.
what's within 250 feet.
Yeah, good point. Within, yeah. Which, I'm guessing, it seems like, I don't know this, but it seems like 250 feet would cover all of the driveway.
Yeah, it does, probably.
I'm guessing. So we're not looking at, based
No,
on these.
actually it doesn't, because this says 50, 1 inch equals 50 feet.
Yeah, but that's probably the original versus this reduced photocopy.
Well, I'm just telling you where 250 feet lies.
Oh, okay, I see your point.
And I think, if if I can just glance that, Gary, I think, whoops. Yeah, you're 256, I think it says right there.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
See, cause your 100-foot mark is right there,
Oh, yeah.
right just behind the old shed.
Shed.
Yep.
And then you're up there about, I think it says 256, if I can read it right.
Okay. So, I think we're in good shape. I think we're in good shape in terms of we just did calculations right here.
Excuse me, I can't hear. I didn't hear any of this other discussion, but at the end of it, I picked up maybe you was talking about hearing aids. And you said you had rechargeable ones. Those aren't those RFD ones for like $300, are they?
No.
Oh. Cause I've wanted to try them, but I just can't spend $5,000 on hearing aids. Everybody else around me has to suffer, but they get very mad at me, but.
Yeah.
So, I will have an email sent to Nick here at the office. Does that do it?
As far as I'm concerned, that would be fine. Does the board feel okay?
Yeah, no, it's wanting something in writing.
So, Mr. Charles, we're looking at, as we go through this, we'll make, at some point, we'll make a motion, and there'll be a condition to get that
Yep.
from
Sanjeev.
that person.
Yep.
Right, an email to Nick.
Okay.
That's gonna be the motion.
That's great. Nick, what is your email? And you gotta speak up.
N.
Pool,
Cool?
Pool, Poole,
at
townofbelgrade.com.
Okay. I'm sure you'll get that tomorrow, because he's awaiting my phone call tonight.
Okay.
So, what other, questions do we have for Mr. Charles? Is there any height
Not to me.
questions?
Uh,
Go ahead.
I get a question. The current structure, does that say 32 or 33?
33 by 34,
Four.
I believe,
Okay.
yes.
And that comes out to 1,122 square feet, correct?
Mhm.
The shed, well, I'm looking at it, says slip, there on the plot plan,
Right here.
yeah, and it says 75 feet from, I assume that's 75 feet back from the normal high line water, normal high.
Yeah,
water
it's
line
not
lake.
from that, looks like a little boat parking area to me.
Yeah. Is there water in there?
Yes.
Associated with- So,
Yep.
that's where the setback.
That's where the
would be
setback
coming
needs to be
from.
measured from, actually.
Oh,
And so I'm thinking we might be running into problems of
Like we did.
in terms of the 1,500 square feet and all that.
Right.
So how much was the camp?
Camp's 1122.
22.
if we take 1122 and add the 384 to it, we're still under.
1,500.
Yep.
If I had 1122 and 384, is it?
Mhm.
16 by 21.
What's that come out to?
I come up with 1506. But
Is that, I mean, that's a man-made, like I guess I'd call it a boat parking area.
yeah,
Is that considered the high water mark?
Yeah, it is now.
Any part of the
Yeah, it is now.
Great Pond is?
Yeah, it's considered part of the lake.
Are you removing that little porch on the back of the camp? Is that going?
That's an old woodshed about 5 by 8.
Okay,
Is that staying put, or is that getting?
No, that's
that's
going in the dumpster,
That's going.
that whole thing.
And that's not part of the 33 by
Right.
44 or whatever.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that we're not permitting more
Right,
expansion
yeah,
than
that's a
allowable.
good catch, Rich.
Yes, we got 1506 with the new proposed shed added on to the current structure, right?
See, now, all of that new one, and if this works, isn't, within that high water mark of 75. Does that make any difference? I mean,
The new one that's, say it's 106 foot back? Is that the
No,
one?
no, he's talking.
no, I'm talking about the one we're gonna take down, and I'm gonna put up the
Okay.
16 by 24. You know, part of that is 75 feet
Beyond.
plus from that boat parking area.
Well, the issue is, it's within 100 feet, you can't exceed 15.
Oh, within 100 feet, oh, excuse me.
Right.
Right. And all you gotta do is shave a little off that.
I can take a foot off that.
You're 6 feet over, right?
Well, is he, I mean, if you're demolishing 30 square feet off of that old wooden shed,
Which is, which.
That whole,
Back?
on the, what's called porch on the, did I misunderstand that?
no, the old wood shed on the shed that's gonna be demolished,
Right here, this little,
right on the end of it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the camp.
this
Yeah.
little bump out, this little bump out.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
okay.
looking, so nothing's gonna be removed from the camp
No,
where it says porch, is that still gonna stay there?
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
not
oh,
touching.
yeah, we're not
I
touching the
thought that
camp.
wouldn't-
Alright,
He's not touching the camp at all.
so that
So-
would actually count toward more square footage,
What does?
that porch on the camp, in terms of what we're calculating is there
How
already.
big's that porch?
The one out on the back,
Yeah,
In other
it's not
words,
very
this-
big.
Yeah.
We calculate 33 by 34.
I think
but in
it's
fact-
6 by 10, maybe 6 by 8. And it isn't enclosed, but that doesn't mean it, because it's a footprint, right?
Right,
Yeah, I think it's 6 by 10.
so it's 33 by 34,
Yeah, and I think
plus this 6
I
by
went
10.
over on that to make sure, but I don't remember for sure. It was 2 weeks ago I was out there. But
Okay,
So if we said 33 by 34, that gives us 1122, right? Are we also saying that we want to include, or not want, it is right to include the porch footprint, which is 6 by 10 or 60. So at the current structure of the camp, we've got 1182, correct?
Correct.
plus 3, what?
did you say 22 or 82?
82.
1182
Yeah.
and the 60, and then 384.
No, that counts the 60, doesn't it, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Because I thought, yeah, so 1182 total,
Yeah.
and then the 384.
Yes.
So with the 1506.
Yep.
So can you just slide that shed back a little further? The fireman's behind the 100 foot mark.
Yeah, maybe, if you look at the photo he gave you, there's some pretty sizable rocks right behind it. One of these photos shows it. What the hell is it?
Does that one show it here?
That shows some of them.
Yeah, there's that rock, I think, right there, just behind the camp.
This one. I think there's also another one. There's quite a few rocks right there.
There's one big one that's staying, because that's behind the 100-foot mark, and then there's one that's 2.5 feet in diameter, I would say.
Is it this thing here, Gary?
Yeah, that one. There's some quite a few rocks and trees that you actually want to put that two trees on. This one shows it even better. And it's, you can see the rocks right there.
You wanna show us, Gary?
You had on hill.
Is it this one? Yeah, here. So, okay. All right,
I mean, if the issue is 6 feet.
What's that?
If the issue is 6 feet over,
Yeah,
what you're allowed.
I'll take a half foot off it.
Yeah.
well, let's just, I hear you. So if we do, we stack up a little bit. 33 times 34 is 1122,
Yes, plus 60,
is 1182,
correct.
plus 384
Yes.
1566.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
1566.
Oh.
So I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we don't get off on the wrong foot,
yeah, right.
okay?
We're starting the same place.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, you wrote it down wrong.
What's that?
You wrote it wrong, and I was going with it.
So I just wanted to make sure that we were
Yeah.
understanding that
Yep.
66 feet, that we have to,
Shave.
shave somewhere, right? 'Cause
So that's 16 feet, 4 feet. That's 64, so we gotta go a little more than 4 feet off on it.
Or move, that's the other option.
Yeah, those are.
Move
the
it
two.
back,
Yeah, so you know where that 100-foot,
pin is,
Yeah.
yeah? So if this were the structure,
yeah,
looking down on it, so here's the line,
yeah,
right now, if you moved it back beyond it, all that square footage behind it,
Doesn't,
now is not part of the calculation in
Okay.
front of
you
it.
don't have to move the whole thing beyond
Okay.
it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. That would just mean moving those 2 rocks.
If that's doable, I don't know
Yeah,
how much work
yeah.
that is, or
No,
if that's part of the plan.
I think that's.
So, you know, if you tell me, yes, you can do this, but you can't have more than
1,500.
1,500 feet, so you can't have more than this, 66% of 66 square feet of my plan has gotta be behind the 100-foot mark.
Yes.
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 Yep.
66
And
square feet.
that's 100 foot from the boat slip
Yeah, from the boat slip.
distance.
Ooh,
Not-
and that really changes it. Yeah, that will put us into the driveway.
Cause Gary, you pointed on the thing where that boat slip, basically, the 100-foot marker.
Yep.
Now has to mirror the boat slip that does this.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Can we,
so I think I'm just gonna have to go smaller.
Yeah, I could say, can we agree that if he tears down whatever size square footage, that was grandfathered square footage that we can put back in place? I know we say you have to move back to the greatest practical extent. If you damage or destroy something.
Build it to the same size as it is now.
Or that he's grandfathered for the same amount of square footage that is within 100 feet of the water now.
Oh, I see.
So
So
So we can have as much square footage,
So
when he tears down what you got, and you
Yep.
build what you got.
So I'm 15.5 by 18.5,
whatever.
and that shed was 6 by 8. So we can have that much square footage as long as I don't go any closer to the water.
Correct. That's my thinking.
So would have 1,566 square feet grandfathered, is that what you're saying?
No. I don't think so.
Whatever is already within that
100 feet.
100-foot area.
Well, that's what we determined was within 100 feet. Anyway, in terms of the shed, is the same square footage of the shed now could be replaced within 100 feet.
One of you got a calculator there?
I do.
15.5
Hold on. 15.5
times 18.5
18.5
equals
286.75
plus 48.
Plus 48. 334.75.
So we were at 3. So I've got to shave 50 feet. I've got to shave off a little more than 3 feet of it by 16. Yep.
So what we're saying is it can be the same size.
What's that?
It can be the same as it
Size.
currently is
Yep.
without an issue.
Yep. The footprint.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'd have to be 15.5 by 18.5 or.
Yep.
There, whatever.
Okay.
With your little bump out and move that as well.
Right.
one of the things I think we can consider though as part of this is, I think he's, let me say this, there's a conflict in my mind between where damaging, you tear it down by more than 50% of the value. In other words, he's demolishing it so that you can rebuild that within a setback to the greatest practical extent. If he can do that same amount of building that we just talked about, but move it, you know, we talked about maybe moving the rocks and getting the whole thing 6 feet further back or 5 feet or something. It seems that that should occur as even though he can build what he's got before, what he does build at that square footage should be
Move back.
to the greatest practical. If that's 5 feet, it's 5 feet. Yeah, you know, I'm not suggesting that you go in there and cut a whole bunch of trees to move it back further. But if that rock, say, is not a big issue, then, you know, earlier you talked about, I'll have to move, maybe I can move back a little bit. I'll have to
Yep.
keep the rocks out. It seems to me that that should occur as part of the approval, that is moving it back.
That is a good point.
Then disturbing soil where you're not cutting trees where you wasn't, so.
Well, I'm not saying cutting trees, but, you know, the idea of disturbing soil to dig out a rock, I'm not sure is a serious
Well,
long-term
looks at the
issue.
pictures, you have to cut trees too, so.
You know, back, just behind that 100-foot pin, there's a huge hemlock tree there.
Yeah, it's a big tree.
And the other big rock, which looks big. I mean,
Yeah.
the one that we're proposing moving looks small, of course you never know, but the other one looks big. It's, you know, it's just got the
Just a little
flatter
bit.
contour and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this.
Is this what you want?
that one. That rock.
Could at least-
Oh, that one. That's that one.
Right, yeah.
Yes, that rock there. This is the big one here.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
Could go back a couple more feet.
I've never set foot there, so I don't know.
Yeah, so,
I mean, the tip of an iceberg, you know, like a whole rock, I don't know.
I just turn that so I can see, yeah. This is the small rock we're gonna move. That's the big one, and then there's the big trees, and
Yeah.
the driveway's right side of there.
yeah.
But we would
That's
come
a
in.
pretty good size rock.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one was small, but we were coming back, so we're gonna, with my cement blocks underneath, we're coming right to that.
Okay, that would, in my mind, would
Yep.
suffice.
Yeah, no, I think that could be done.
We meet the spirit of, you know, the ordinance, right?
Well, the letter of the law too.
And then the letter, yeah.
I guess, in my mind, all we need to figure out or get for you is exactly what are you building now as a result of, maybe where is it gonna go, or are you gonna move it back 2 feet or
Yep,
whatever, and what size building are you gonna build?
yep. So I won't exceed 334.75. And I'll move it back as far as I can to that big rock.
Fine with me.
I'm okay with that. Did you capture that in the minutes?
Is that a motion?
No,
Oh.
I'm asking, do you have that in our minutes?
No,
We'll
not
make
yet.
sure, yeah, we'll check. Cause he said he would, what he's proposing to build would not be in exceedance of,
334.75 square feet,
Move back to Big Rock.
and move back to the big rock, which you've got pictures with you and stuff.
right? Which is moving away from the normal high water mark several feet. That's good. Okay. So does that, what we've talked about, does that change what you are, what was proposed? If so, is that reflected on the application?
That was the real question. Well, you know, we've got an application for a certain thing. We just need to make sure we're approving an application for what we just agreed upon.
Right.
I don't wanna take it down, so
Okay.
I'll do it the way you say.
You can't just put that in the condition that it cannot be, it has to be existing.
can't exceed 300 and whatever it was.
I don't know, I'm not trying to be nitpicky, I'm just saying, we approve, whatever we approve on any application should be what is proposed. Or what is proposed is what we approve. So therefore, just making sure that that reflects that on the application. That's all. I agree with you, Craig, we can still have that stipulation.
So he can change the application, right? Just,
And,
and that's what you're asking.
yeah, I just wanna make sure we do that.
Yep.
So, does the board feel similarly? Yes, I do.
Could it be done efficiently?
Floor area.
So wait,
Oh, proposed structure, 334.75.
And initial it and date it.
Footprint will also be 34.75. There.
And initial and date it.
What's that?
Initial and date it.
5, 16, 19. Okay.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to add to this? Okay. You changed the numbers to 334.75, is that it?
How do we capture in the application, moving it back, whatever, several feet or 2 feet or whatever it is?
I propose we capture that in the minutes,
For a motion?
or
A condition?
condition. I
Would
guess
you-
I would be fine with that.
Would you say that this structure, I'm wondering if we could have it be a condition that the structure be moved back, say, no less than 2 additional feet, or,
You say no less than 2 feet?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that, I use the right term, but essentially I'm saying it's gotta go back at least 2 more feet. From where it originally was.
Another way to skin this cat is we've already agreed that about on this line is where it would be moved back to. What about altering the application by drawing that line in and saying, will be moved back to this,
Will we move back to the big rock?
to the big rock?
Is indicated by the line or?
So, do something like that on the original and,
Put it,
Right on the drawing?
do it on the drawing.
Yeah, right on the drawing.
yeah, do it on the drawing.
Yeah,
On the side drawing?
No,
No, there's a picture of the rock, the one
On the
with the
photo.
rock. I think it's early on.
So, view of the back wall.
Oh, the one in front of us.
He's hiding.
So did I do that line?
Yep,
Move back to big rock?
yep, excellent.
Okay.
We have a visual depiction of what we're actually approving.
I like that. Okay. So, we talked about the amount of square foot.
Yep.
Talked about moving the proposed shed back to that rock. There's no, what height is this shed gonna be?
The walls will be 7 foot, 4.5 with a 12-12 pitch, so we're going 8. And I'll probably keep the 16, but I'll shorten it up, which will help us get away from the water as much as possible. So, 8, probably be 16 feet off the ground with my blocks and timbers.
That's good, that's within what we would be asking.
Yep.
Or what the shoreline zoning ordinance indicates. Any other questions? This is raising one structure and putting up another one. Roger was talking about the fact that we'd be asking for controlling from that roof, right? So, any more thoughts about this?
Might wanna explain that base benefit.
Okay, so, what we're talking about right there is that when you build in the shoreland zone, when water comes off the roof, we're saying you have to control that water runoff in one of several ways. And that's gonna be a condition in this approval. The methods can be very, very straightforward, very easy. Crushed gravel around the ground, when water comes off the
drip
roof,
line.
it drips onto that.
Mhm.
So it does not run at all towards the water.
And that's what the whole driveway is, crushed stone and stuff, so.
That's quite a pitch
On the
Okay.
roof.
on the land.
Yeah, it does run, yeah. It does move. At least there.
The driveway's on the other side, so what's in front?
Say that again?
What's that?
Well, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the way the land is sloping.
Yep.
The driveway's back here.
Yep.
What's between here and the water? Does it keep sloping like that?
Yes.
Alright, so that's what, we don't want anything coming off that roof and just running on top,
Okay.
going right down.
So we'll see to it that there's crushed stone on both sides of that.
You gotta contain the water and keep it up there.
Already? We have a pamphlet that shows, you know, the general means of doing that.
Okay.
That we give to anybody.
In some cases, they may even have to put a pond between the water and the building to hold it.
Yeah, but the drip line, infiltration gravel is really the easiest
Right.
and quite effective.
Yep.
And the way that works out is we're gonna do a condition of approval saying that, to control stormwater in compliance with, Maine DEP best management practices, that being one of those.
Mhm.
And, the pamphlet will come with the permit.
So, do we have any more questions? So, we know there's gonna be one standard condition that we're gonna get. We talked about the other condition that you would need to receive from the owner.
Yep.
Sanjean, the email. I don't think there was anything else, was there? I would entertain a motion if someone's willing.
Make a motion to approve the application as amended, with two conditions. The first being stormwater off the roof of the new, of the two new sheds, or the two, of the replacement and new shed be handled in accordance with DEP best management practices. Second condition being that prior to the start of construction, written authorization from the landowner be provided to the contractor.
The shed's gotta be moved back to the rear, back to the extent.
No, he's already altered the
Application.
application, so that's not necessary. So, I lost my thought here. So the second condition would be, written authorization from the landowner, granting permission to represent before the planning board.
Get that, Nick?
So, two, the crushed stone, the DEP runoff.
Yeah.
And the email
Yeah,
authorized.
exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So we've got a motion with two conditions.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any more comments or discussion? Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, the only thing would be, now you kind of said Nick was gonna send the permit, so that'll be sent out soon.
After he gets
Huh?
that, after he gets that letter.
That email,
from-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he needs you, in order for you to begin your work, has to make sure he receives that.
Yep,
that
he'll
email.
get that tomorrow.
Okay,
No,
I know.
I'm pleased.
Yeah,
You guys are very workable.
we do try to help. All those in favor of the motion with the two conditions? 5 in favor, none opposed. So once he receives that email, the permit will be mailed to you,
Okay.
okay?
Along with saying that you guys are very workable tonight, I've been very impressed. I've called Gary about 10 times. He made a site visit at my complete convenience. Nick here in the town office, called a couple of ladies. Everybody's been very helpful here in Belgrade.
That's good.
Don't
You know,
tell anybody, but.
Whether I get the permit or not, I was gonna say that because that's the way I feel about stuff. Yeah.
We have some nice people that volunteer and work here.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, thank you, Gary, thank you, Nick.
You know, like I say, it never once was, you again?
I'd rather meet you on the lake than sit in that office.
I know.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And my permit fee's all paid. Nick said if I paid it ahead of time, it would definitely help with the process, so
Okay,
we paid it.
all right.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're looking for a fee
Can
now.
I ask you, have you got any military units?
No. No. Like I say, that when you guys were talking at first, I didn't hear a word, and I can't hear you guys talk. You did speak up for me. I heard the young guy here, who's sitting right behind me, but it just, I just don't want to spend $5,000. But it's getting to that point. Either that or I'm gonna end up living alone, and my helper that works with me won't work with me, and. Good night, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks, Gary.
See ya.
All right, thanks, everybody, for getting through that. So that was done. Next was, shoreline permit for Deborah and Ed Camille. Everybody had that application?
Here's that.
Gary, you wanna lead us through it?
Sure. The application is number 21-19. The address is 341 Wanzer Lane, which is on Great Pond. It's map 39, lot 9. Present structure is 1,248 square feet. The proposed after these additions would be 1976. Let me regroup here for a second. Never mind. So it's 93. The existing footprint is 93 feet from the lake. And there's a scale drawing. 1 centimeter equals 10 feet.
Metric English.
So, I thought there was an attached piece of paper that summarized what they're doing, right here. There's an attachment that explains what they're doing. Yep.
So basically, they're adding to the sides and the back,
Correct. That's right.
and not towards the lake.
Not
so
towards
it's
the
not
lake.
less- Not more non-conforming.
Correct. Matter of fact, of course, on the back, that's where they're adding. It's beyond 100 feet even.
Oh, right.
And most, all of it is beyond 100 feet, because the existing is 93 feet from the lake now. So there's very little expansion even within the 100 feet.
And that existing retaining wall is not being altered, correct?
No.
So the only thing that's being altered is additions to the back and sides?
Yes, that's correct.
The proposed deck that in this drawing, Gary, is here.
Let me look. Yep. Yep.
That's within 100 feet, right?
Part of it.
Part of it is.
Part of it. Just 7 by 16 is.
Oh, okay.
See that?
Yeah, I do. I was looking at the 13 and.
Yeah, no,
When, yeah, so 7 by 16 would be within
yeah,
100 feet.
right.
So is that
So that would that make it more non-conforming?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
No,
Not if it's not getting any closer to the lake.
and you're allowed 1,500 within, I mean,
But
you're
As
allowed,
long as your setback isn't getting closer, you're
right,
not making it more.
Oh, yeah, right, now.
Okay.
Okay, yep, right.
Okay, so we're not increasing non-conformity, right?
no,
Or what's being proposed. I mean, most, 99%, most of what's being proposed is behind the 100-foot.
Yep. Yep.
Mark.
yes.
So, is the floor area gonna increase by 700 square feet?
No. Yes, but it's beyond, most of it's beyond the 100.
Right. The only exception being that 7 by 16.
Right. Most of it's beyond the 100 feet, so they're not limited.
Okay.
Gary, this is just a portion of the existing camp right here.
Yes.
Yeah. What I was getting confused with is I thought that was the 100-foot was the retaining wall, and it's
No.
not. The retaining wall's over here.
Right, it's
Yeah, right
90
here.
grade,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's at 7.
Yeah, okay, I get it, thank you.
Doesn't appear like there's a whole lot of, other structural, in terms of lot coverage, I can't imagine it's violating lot coverage at all.
It was
I've been down there, this lot's heavily treed, a lot of big hemlocks on this lot.
I mean,
About an
they're only at
acre size.
less than 10% with the buildings.
Yep.
So that,
So that's good, so we're meeting it there.
And the driveway's not very big. It kinda just,
and,
Looks like a little horseshoe of it.
it is.
yeah, part of that driveway is probably not within the shoreline zone.
No, probably not.
Part of what, George?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Part of
no,
the driveway is probably not
No.
within the shoreline zone.
it is, it's 200 feet deep.
Yeah,
The lot's 200
So
feet
one
deep,
acre lot, 200 by 200.
yeah,
Yep.
so it looks like
40,000.
a perfect square, right?
Yep. These folks just bought this from Robert Pepin, that owns J&R Metal Frames,
Oh, yeah?
and he just bought it 2 years ago, or a year ago even.
He just pretty much moved the floor.
Has he?
I think he's got, I don't think he's even running the company anymore.
The realtor thought he was sick.
He had a massive heart attack and all that.
Did he? Not very old.
Mr. Pepin guy?
Yeah.
So what they're proposing to construct, really, it looks like we've got, not gonna be any equipment down there digging. It's
No,
just
it's all on posts,
guys on, you know.
posts and pads.
Any other questions about this? I don't wanna skip anything, but it just seems like there's really not a lot to consider in this case. If you calculated 7 by 16, that little piece in there, that was like 1/16, add that onto the
But it's
1248, you're still in the 1500. So, in there,
1248.
Yeah, 300.
yeah.
You'd get us, within the 100 feet, you've got 7 by 32, and you've got 7 by 16,
Oh, shit, that's right.
okay? And you've got an 8 by 8 greenhouse over here,
So that's, yeah,
So
so
like
still
300 and so on.
square feet total.
within 100.
Alright, so we all good? I didn't see the motion if someone was willing.
Make a motion, we approve the application, of Deborah and Ed Keneally, number 2119. I don't think we even have conditions, do we?
The standard condition for stormwater.
Yep.
With the standard condition for stormwater management.
Thank you. So we have a motion with a condition and seconded. Craig, thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor? 5 in favor, none opposed. And that. Take a few minutes to review the minutes.
On the first application that we denied, that form, that form, is that a copy of that go to the Board of Appeals?
Yeah, I think when I did Brightside, I sent them a letter with this.
Okay,
Oh, you're talking with the Board of Appeals?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the whole thing, I think.
okay.
Yeah.
Cause this will be the first one where they'll get, and well, no, I'm sorry, I'm way off the mark. I was gonna say, this is just a variance, this is not an appeal.
Right, you don't give them the original, do you? You just make copies?
Copy, yeah. And I have to wait, don't have to wait until they make a application for an appeal, right? And then that's when-
No, there's no, because maybe they'll decide otherwise, who knows?
I'll send them over.
I was just curious how that works.
Oh, just pass it on.
So the easiest place to access Kevin's property isn't it that little road just beyond Hammond's that goes in quite a ways?
Yeah, no, when
What's
I
that?
looked at
Yeah.
Google Earth, I didn't pick up on that initially. It makes a whole loop, and it looks like there's a house in there.
There's several. There's
Yeah.
three or four houses in
I
there.
had no idea.
Mhm.
That's kind of weird to have all those people driving through Hammond Lumberyard.
No, they don't. It's the road just beyond it. It's right across the street from that new house that
Oh, okay,
that they
yeah.
tore
oh,
down,
yeah,
Jenny's house.
Right, okay.
Lupin Drive or something like that.
It's where
Yeah.
that building is with that water pipe. comes
Yes.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, there's 4 or 5 houses in there.
Yeah, no, I was surprised.
That's
I
probably
had
the
no
easiest
clue.
way to access this lot.
I assume, yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yep.
Cause I thought he was gonna have to go over the railroad, and that's wrong, you know, it doesn't look like he has to.
Right. Well, even if you did, that would be the shortest walk down the railroad, probably.
That's the shortest walk.
I think so.
I don't mind walking. Well, Craig looked for trains, so
Crazy hold the flag.
I don't think you have the Transit Express there. do you?
You'll have Craig listen for them.
Yeah, good point, yeah, somebody with good ears.
I think I could hear a train.
I hope so.
Yeah, but at what distance, Rich?
2 feet?
Yeah, enough distance to get out of the way.
What I wonder when there's one way you hear people getting run over by a train, and if it, I mean, a lot of times it's intentional, but how can you unintentionally get run over by the train?
Someone did last week, remember? It was on the news.
Oh, really? I didn't, so, in Maine?
Yeah. They said the medical examiner is trying to determine if it was suicide. How do you determine that?
Other than a note.
Right. How many sets of minutes you got, Nick?
2, right?
Yep.
Everybody had a chance to have gone through the minutes. Okay, to go over the minutes of March 7th. Who's ready? Go ahead. Got that. So for the minutes for March 7, 2019, what comments or edits are needed in this case? Anybody have any?
I do.
Yeah?
Down here under 1, Nick, says use one of DEP stormwater best business practices.
Yeah, I saw that.
Should say management practices. Then on the bottom, on the last paragraph on the bottom, says the board saw no issues. That should say with the application. Oh, no, with what the applicant was asking for, right here. This says application, should say applicant. I saw something else too, hold on. Right here, the board it should say the board was a little bit concerned and not
I think the word
concerned.
bid ought to be taken off too.
Where are we? First page still?
Say what, Roger? Yeah.
Take the word bid, right out of
The
the.
board was a little concerned, yeah, right there. That's it, for me.
I'm thinking a couple, on that same page, where it says built for facilities and new garage. Under that, it says George seconded the motion. Who made the motion?
Rich,
Does it
Gotta
say,
be in there.
I think it says it right above it.
yeah, it's in the sentence,
Oh, okay,
well,
all right.
one.
And on the back part, who seconded the motion? George made the motion, but with two conditions.
where are you? Oh, I see.
I am.
It says Rich seconded. Right
Rich
here,
made the motion. and approved
George
the
made a
application
motion,
With
and
two conditions.
Which one are you on?
we're reading the
On
same.
the back.
He's talking
It's
about
on
the new business one.
Yeah, that's not-
Yeah, there's no
right.
second.
Oh, gotcha.
We know who did second?
I'm sure. Oh. Rich.
And we passed it, right? And did you get the photos that we asked for?
Yes. Those were the permits.
Okay.
Which one?
Rosemary. Yes, 4 photos.
One of them tonight didn't have photos though, did it? One we just approved.
Yeah, I guess you're right, yeah, it didn't.
Oops.
We're getting into our groove.
The new instruction sheets are out, so
Fantastic.
those have those requirements.
George,
Are the new
Rich,
applications out?
Craig,
No,
any
those are
comments?
recent. I have to,
I
there's
got
no treasurer, so I don't know.
Oh,
what
the
they can
third,
add.
number one, I would suggest the fourth line down in number one, that the board questioned, rather than did one, or the board questioned if the applicant was over the 20% lot coverage standard.
Whether you said it.
The board
The board
question.
questioned if the applicant was over the 20%, I'd suggest putting lot coverage standard afterward. And it might be better if we said, but determined that he was not, oh well, you could just leave it at lot coverage standard, but it's kind of a run-on sentence, we could, just say, but they determined it was not after further investigation. The other thing is, maybe you guys already said it, I may have missed it, but Gary mentioned best management practices, under new business,
Yes.
it says
Yeah.
business practices again.
Yes.
Maybe you had already said that.
No, I didn't.
It's a firm.
Anything else? I'm sorry, anything else on this one? On minutes for March 7th? Hearing none, do you have any questions?
Nope.
You're all set? So we've provided comments and edits. I didn't entertain a motion on.
Motion to accept the minutes of March 7th as amended. Second.
Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? 5 in favor, none opposed. The minutes for March 21st, 2019. Says 2018.
I have one.
Yeah, Gary.
Where it says present board members and it says CEO, I wasn't here that night.
You weren't here with Brian Rizzo?
That's right. Sick, that was it. Or-
Always good to know where you were.
I think there was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just got back from vacation.
So I took an extended one.
Smart. So, yeah, did you catch the
Yeah.
2019 versus 2018?
Oh. Gotcha. Thank you.
Got that from Gary. What other comments or edits are required? Kevin?
I have a couple. Under new business, number one, the first line of the paragraph, starting with Brian Rizzo, I would not capitalize old and office. Not to mention, it might mislead somebody to think they're an old town.
I wouldn't capitalize the either under Brian Rizzo came to the board.
Well, I think, Nick, you were told by the town manager that.
Yeah, with
town
Dennis,
wanted
I
it.
suggestion that should be.
Oh, but
capped.
not the board? They
We're,
capitalized
we're the board,
Yeah.
like the county.
Dennis
We're
doesn't do
talking
that?
about our board.
You
it's
should
the
just-
The board,
This is like when you first started.
the Bears.
I feel important now.
The third line down, that starts with the building as marijuana retail business, I would, scratch everything from some to, up to, but not including reveal, and substitute information provided by the town manager. So that it would read, information revealed by, provided by the town manager revealed that the town cannot be giving out marijuana retail business permits. Town should be capitalized, by the way.
Or what you could say, it was revealed that the town cannot be giving out marijuana and just scratch the rest.
Yeah, that too. That's also
We
true.
could sell it, just not.
You're right, yeah, no, we can't give it, we can. Oh, and at the end of that sentence, I would say, at this time, since, that could change. Then on the second page, under number 2, the first line, planning board decided that since the shoreline ordinance, rather than is done with, I would, substitute has been completed. And then, after the word the, I would add, permit, so it's permit application, and then add the word form. So that it reads, the planning board decided that since the shoreline ordinance has been completed, the application, the permit application form should be updated, And then in the last line, third line or last line of that paragraph, ask Nick Poole to apply them, I would add to a draft application form before the next meeting for review, so that it reads, the board made some changes and asked Nick Poole to apply them to a draft application form before the next meeting for review.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah. Under that part, third line down, should be updated to reflect some of the changes. How about taking out some of the, or just reflect changes? Okay, that way we're not just picking out a few.
We're actually doing the changes
Yeah.
in the order. Good point. I have a question on new business purpose. It says medical marijuana dispensary. I'm questioning, is that really what we need to say there, or was it recreational?
No.
Commercial?
It was medical.
It was? Okay. Because the reference in the statute down below says, it's talking about commercial medical marijuana establishments.
That's what it was, yep. Who's medical?
You weren't on recreational marijuana at the time, eh?
I was not.
Or medical?
But the town was giving it to him.
Yeah.
Is does he still have,
No, I could have sworn that his lease has gotta be, his contract has gotta be.
yeah, I don't think he was interested, was he, after that?
So it's still for sale?
Yeah.
Still, so I think Dennis said he did have another interested party, I don't know if it's gone.
Yeah, I had a guy call me this week. He's interested in purchasing the Old Town office for a single-family home.
Really?
For a what?
Single-family home.
Really?
Huh?
Was there only one, a single person home?
He didn't say that.
But it likes traffic apparently.
Actually.
Traffic and accidents. I've seen a bunch there.
Right price. You wouldn't have to go very far to get your coffee in one.
Right.
You gotta put a lot of work in that building.
Yeah.
It's got the old single pane windows. It's all paneling inside.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff.
Yeah.
All types of, all kinds of guano up in there.
Yeah, oh,
That's right.
Sell it next door.
Use that in your garden.
Yeah. So we have recommendations for both the minutes and entertain the motion for, let's start with March 21st. Was there? We did the other one. Oh, yeah. March 21st.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes on the 21st as amended.
Second. And a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? 5 in favor, none opposed. Thank you very much, Nick. Gary, what are the updates? We just heard about the single family home.
yeah, I don't know if that.
Not to mention guano.
Guano. Mary's coming back.
As the treasurer.
Yep,
Oh, really?
yep.
Huh.
They fired Mary back. Well, she'll be leaving Augusta and coming here on 29th, right?
Yeah, 29.
Nick is our acting treasurer. No?
Yes, I guess, I don't know. I don't know.
Does that come with occasional stints at the transfer station?
Yeah.
It does, yeah. I have to do that this Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
What's
It's
that?
on the town manager's job.
Huh?
Saturday.
Anything on the
This Saturday.
town manager's job?
No, Dennis said he's got a dozen applications. They'll probably consider about 4 or 5, he said.
Yeah.
I don't know if he won't be part of that process, will
It's a
he?
select board, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
so.
select board, I think he just has to just give him like a rundown of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's about it. Whoever they pick,
Maybe recommendation of the.
maybe,
Are they using the MMA process at all to help with the screening?
I don't know. I don't think so, do you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Anything else going on around town?
Oh, a lot of little stuff, renovations and busy.
Yeah.
Just inspected that new home that Adam built almost across from your house.
Yeah.
That's done. Nice looking home.
Yeah, it is. From the outside, it's nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, he said when he sells that, he's gonna build one down in Bayview. So,
You notice the old Double D's building has been
Boarded up.
substantially boarded up.
yeah, we said that last week, I think, or last meeting. Someone told me. No, Charlene told me.
You did a good job at boarding it up. Very thorough.
It's good.
The whole storage is going up kind of.
Yep.
Yes, I saw they're trying to plant those posts.
In ledge.
Yeah,
Is
I know,
there-
I thought, Jiminy, that's gonna be hard.
I would have thought they'd, put some kind of cement pads or something with it, rather than taking a piece of wood and sticking it in the ground.
But that's what he told us he was gonna do. It was gonna be a pole building.
So it's a gravel floor. Must be, yep.
No work.
Until it rots.
Right.
There'll be some maintenance involved in years to come.
Yeah.
We took all this timbers and just dropped them on the ground, and they were flopped all around everywhere. I'm like, oh, those are gonna be nice to build with once they get all
They
twisted.
got wet.
Yeah, you take a 4x4 pressure treated, those things will do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Right, those are hemlock.
Oh, they are? Putting hemlock underground?
They treated the bottom of the whole,
Oh, really?
Three services, we need a tar.
well, can't pierce something anymore.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
sort of
sorry.
screen, some sort of.
They moved into that house across the street? The ones what,
Across the street?
from the boat started?
I don't know for sure. I'm not sure. I assume so. I think she did. I think she did.
Anything going on down in Belgrade Lakes?
I try to avoid that area.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I do too.
Is,
'Cause it,
Greg, you can't.
is DOT doing their thing right now?
Yep.
We started, right?
Well, DOT, well,
Well, it's a
Brad.
contractor's trying to.
Geez, I was at the Sunset Grill last, 5 days ago, I think it was. Like we were there for the first time in a year and a half.
Yeah.
that's where I'm working right now.
Only because my oldest boy wanted to go there for supper. Yeah, it's for Mother's Day, Friday.
Oh, good.
Gary, do you have any idea, at Ben's Auto, did they ever stabilize those steep slopes as they were required to do? Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll have to check. I don't know.
I was just
I haven't
curious.
seen much activity over there at all. I don't know what's up.
Well, I was gonna ask
He
you
had,
about that.
he had a mechanic, or two mechanics that were in that garage every day. And I haven't seen anybody there for,
On the way into Augusta,
Yeah, same by J and M's.
say what?
You know the J and M's logging?
yes,
The building in front used to be Kitchens Unlimited, that's now Ben's.
Ben's Auto.
Oh, really?
That's what it says
Oh,
on the side of it.
I heard he was moving to Civic Center Drive.
So I'm thinking,
It does say that?
and that may explain why there's been less activity up there. I don't know,
Oh, yeah, maybe. I didn't notice it even.
but you saw it too then, okay, yeah.
Wonder, will he be displaying his inventory?
He doesn't have any cars displayed out
No.
there, does he?
I don't even think there's a desk or a chair in the building yet with the signs out.
Oh,
Again, could be just some legal deal, yeah, I've got a place,
I don't know.
that's where I can get my dealer plate license.
Yeah, whatever works.
Doesn't say you have to sell it there, right? You just need an office of certain size with a bathroom and.
Place to, you need a garage bay. There must be, I think there might be one on the back side of that building.
Yeah, there is one side, because he used to work in no kitchen.
But Peter, is today the first day, or Roger, the first day that they've been doing any paving out there on?
No, they've been gouging out areas that apparently the paving was bad and they repaved that.
Yeah, and then they'll take the
And
road
now-
separated.
Now there's a section, that only had one layer, and it calls for 3. So they put the second layer on. Then the third one will go from Cemetery Road here all the way up to Dan Travis.
Anything else?
Think that's it?
Any sense of the number of applications coming to our way for the next meeting?
I don't have any yet, do I? Not yet.
Yeah.
What else have we gotta work on now for our ordinances to go up with our comprehensive plan? Anything else?
Oh, well, did you see what I sent you? Yeah. I think we need to talk about, after we get the shoreline zoning map done, so that's item number 1. But after that, I think we need to talk about moving on to the, subdivision ordinance, because it is really out of date. I mean, the definition isn't even consistent with state law, and, making it consistent with the comprehensive plan. So that, I think that's part of our work plan, so that's really, actually, that's the last thing on our work plan, I believe.
The only other thing that would happen would be if we stumbled upon some other, ordinances that some of the
Yeah.
I think we ought to look at it, even like trailer park. The trailer, not every, nothing should look at it.
And I guess I'll toss out one other thing, no matter what happens, with any ordinance revisions or anything like that, one of the things that we wanted to be able to do with the comprehensive plan, or as a result of the comprehensive plan, was to understand the impact of new buildings in the town as it consumes, available land. Because we had talked about how much would be available for building and how much was to be left not.
Oh, yeah, the
No
percentage.
Right, and so we should try to wrestle with how we're going to calculate that on a running basis, so that if the town manager wants to know how are we, or if you're asked, you should have that information. So I don't wanna lose sight of that.
I forgot about it, actually.
And then, so I'm kind of showing my hand. GIS, we went to that thing the
Oh.
other day.
Yeah, I'll send out some material for you guys. They're supposed to send me some packets and stuff.
Was it overwhelming? It may have been.
It was overwhelming, and
Yeah.
I spent an hour with just a guy trying to get funding for stuff, so.
Thank you, that's always good too,
Yeah.
funding projects. So, it would be cool to leverage tools available right now, especially if we didn't have to pay money for them.
Right.
To help us do those calculations. And GIS is one way to do it. So,
You're a ways away from that.
Yes.
I'm thinking so, but,
That's-
I don't know how to get there unless we don't ask.
No, I know. I know.
So, anyway, anything else to talk about today? Let's call it a night. 9/17.